My parents forced me to raise my sister's baby. Now she's back and wants to take him away. I never wanted to be a parent. Not like this. Not under these circumstances. Not with my own life put on hold while I was thrust into a role I had never asked for. But fate, or more accurately, my family, had made that decision for me. It started the night my sister, Vanessa, abandoned her newborn son at our parents' house. I still remember it so clearly. How she had stormed in with an air of indifference. Her makeup smudged, her clothes rumpled like she had just rolled out of some stranger's bed. She was cradling a tiny, crying infant in her arms, looking at him with something between exhaustion and irritation. She didn't hold him like a mother should, like someone who felt connected to the fragile life in her hands. No. She held him like he was heavy, like he was inconvenient. "I can't do this," she had said, her voice flippant, as if she was talking about an old sweater she wanted to throw away. "I'm not cut out for this mom crap." Our parents didn't argue. They didn't tell her to stay, to take responsibility, to at least try before giving up entirely. No, they simply turned to me. "You'll take care of him," my mother had said, her voice firm, like it was already decided, like I had no choice. And they were right, because I didn't. I had protested, of course. I had tried to reason with them, to tell them this wasn't my responsibility, that I had my own life, my own goals, that I couldn't just drop everything to raise a child that wasn't mine. But every argument was met with the same unwavering response. "We can't do it. We're too old for this. You're young, you're responsible. You'll figure it out. Vanessa just needs time. She'll come back when she's ready." Would you really let your own nephew suffer? And just like that, my life was rewritten. I became a parent overnight. Vanessa disappeared without a second glance, free to live the life she had chosen for herself while I was shackled with the responsibility she had so carelessly abandoned. My parents provided the occasional financial support, but beyond that, they washed their hands of the situation, acting as if I had volunteered for this, like I had wanted this. But the thing was, despite all the resentment, despite all the anger, despite the unfairness of it all, I loved him. Ethan, that tiny, helpless baby who had been dumped into my arms, screaming and confused, needing someone, anyone, to care. He didn't ask to be born. He didn't deserve to be left behind like an afterthought. And the moment I looked into his wide, innocent eyes, I knew. If Vanessa wouldn't fight for him, then I would. I had to. So I raised him. I gave up nights out, relationships, career opportunities. I traded in my freedom for sleepless nights, for bottle feedings, for doctor visits, for school applications, for scraped knees and bedtime stories. I built my entire world around making sure he had everything, that he never felt like he was missing something, that he never questioned whether he was wanted, because I wanted him. And then, just when I thought we were safe, just when I thought Vanessa was nothing more than a ghost from the past, she came back, and she wanted him. The first sign of trouble was my mother's voice, hesitant and strange over the phone. "Sweetheart, Vanessa's back." I had to sit down when I heard it, my entire body tensing, my stomach twisting itself into knots. "What do you mean she's back?" I asked, gripping the phone so tightly my knuckles ached. "She showed up last night, said she wants to see Ethan." I felt the room tilt slightly, a wave of nausea rolling through me. "She doesn't get to see him," I said, my voice low, dangerous. "She left. She gave up that right years ago. She says she's changed," my mother continued, like that was supposed to mean something. "She says she's ready to be his mother now." I let out a slow, measured breath, pressing my fingers against my temple as a headache bloomed behind my eyes. "No," I said simply. "Honey, no," I repeated, steel in my voice. "She doesn't get to do this. She doesn't get to waltz back in like nothing happened. Ethan doesn't even know her." "She's still his mother," my mother said softly. "Don't you think he should at least meet her?" I closed my eyes. There it was, that same old manipulation, the same way they had pressured me into raising him in the first place. Except now, instead of forcing me to take responsibility, they were trying to convince me to give it up. As if all these years of sacrifice, of struggle, of love, meant nothing. "If she wanted to be his mother," I said, my voice shaking with controlled rage, "she should have stayed." I hung up. I wasn't naive. I knew this wasn't over. Vanessa wasn't the type to let something go when she wanted it, and this time she wanted Ethan, not because she loved him, not because she had suddenly realized the weight of her mistakes, but because she had gotten bored of her own life and decided she wanted something new. And now, that something was him. I needed to be ready. Vanessa wasn't going to stop. I knew that the moment my mother called. I knew it the moment I heard her name again. That sickly, sweet way she always managed to slither back into people's lives like a storm cloud on the horizon. Quiet at first, then devastating. She wasn't back because she had changed. She was back because she had decided she wanted Ethan now, like a toy she'd tossed aside and suddenly remembered existed, like something she thought she had the right to reclaim. I spent the next few days on edge, waiting for the inevitable. It came sooner than I expected. It was a Thursday evening when it happened. Ethan had just finished dinner, his little face still smeared with ketchup as he chattered about dinosaurs and how T-Rexes had tiny arms, but were still super strong. His voice was bright, full of innocence, completely unaware that his entire world was about to be threatened. The doorbell rang. I already knew who it was. Still, I forced myself to take a deep breath before answering. And there she was. Vanessa stood on my doorstep like a ghost from a life I had left behind, all wide smiles and forced warmth, as if she was expecting some kind of heartfelt reunion. "Hey, stranger?" I didn't smile. "What do you want, Vanessa?" Her lips curved into a pout, mock offended. "That's no way to greet your big sister." I kept my expression blank. "You stopped being my sister the day you abandoned your son." That got to her. I saw the flicker of irritation flash across her face before she smoothed it over, her voice taking on a rehearsed softness. "I didn't abandon him," she said, placing a hand on her chest as if she was the victim. "I wasn't ready, but I am now." "Good for you," I said coldly. "That doesn't change anything." Her eyes darkened. "I want to see him." I didn't move. "No." She let out a breathy laugh, the kind that wasn't really amused. "Oh, come on. Don't be difficult. He's my son." "No," I said again, stepping forward, making it clear that she wasn't getting past me. "He stopped being your son the moment you walked away. He doesn't even know you." Her expression hardened. "That's not my fault. You kept him from me." I actually laughed at that. A sharp, humorless sound. "You left, Vanessa. I didn't keep anything from you. You made your choice, and I made sure he never had to suffer because of it." She crossed her arms, the friendly act slipping further away. "I have rights, you know. I could take this to court." And there it was, the real threat. I felt my pulse spike, but I didn't let her see it. Instead, I tilted my head, studying her. "You sure you want to do that?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Because if we go to court, they're going to start asking questions about your history, about why you left, about what you've been doing for the last 5 years while I raised your son." Her mouth tightened. "And," I continued, "they'll ask Ethan who he wants to stay with. Do you really think he'll pick you?" Vanessa's jaw clenched, but she didn't answer. Because we both knew the truth. Ethan didn't know her. He knew me. I was the one who had held him when he cried. I was the one who had stayed up all night when he had a fever, who had kissed his scraped knees, who had taught him how to tie his shoes. She was a stranger, a threat. Vanessa let out a slow breath, shaking her head. "You always think you're so much better than me, don't you?" she muttered. "No," I said simply. "I just know that I'm better for him." She swallowed hard, her nails digging into her arms. I could see the storm brewing behind her eyes, the rage, the frustration, the realization that this wasn't going to be easy for her. "This isn't over," she whispered. I nodded once. "No, it's not." Then I shut the door in her face. I barely slept that night. I kept thinking about Ethan, about how much he didn't know, how much of this fight was happening over his head, while he remained blissfully unaware that the person who had left him was trying to come back and tear his life apart. I couldn't let it happen. I wouldn't let it happen. Vanessa wasn't bluffing. I had known it the moment she left my doorstep, the promise in her voice lingering like the smell of smoke after a fire. She was going to fight for Ethan, not because she loved him, not because she missed him, but because she wanted him now. And Vanessa had always been the kind of person who believed she was entitled to anything she wanted, regardless of who got hurt in the process. And I wasn't about to let her win. For the next few days, I barely slept. I spent every waking moment preparing for what I knew was coming. I met with a lawyer, gathering every piece of evidence that proved I was Ethan's real parent in everything but blood. School records, medical forms, photographs, text messages, everything that showed the undeniable truth. I raised him. I was the one who had always been there. Vanessa, on the other hand, had nothing. No history of taking care of him, no record of providing for him, no proof that she had ever been anything more than a biological parent, a title that meant nothing without the actions to back it up. But I knew Vanessa, and I knew she wouldn't go down quietly. The next time she showed up, she brought backup. I opened the door to find my parents standing beside her, their expressions carefully neutral, like they weren't about to do something unforgivable. "We need to talk," my mother said. I looked past her to Vanessa, who had the audacity to smirk. "No, we don't," I said flatly. "I told you, this isn't happening." "We're trying to be reasonable," my father said, his voice laced with forced patience. "This isn't just about you, you know. Vanessa is his mother." "No, she's not," I cut him off. "A mother doesn't abandon her child for 5 years and then show up one day expecting to take him back like nothing happened." Vanessa rolled her eyes. "Oh my God, get over yourself. You act like I was off partying while you played house with my kid." I stepped forward before I could stop myself, my voice dropping to a low, dangerous tone. "That's exactly what happened, Vanessa." She faltered for half a second before recovering, flipping her hair over her shoulder with a scoff. "You always think you're so much better than me," she muttered. "No," I said, my voice cold. "I just did better than you. And you can't stand it." My mother let out a frustrated sigh, stepping between us. "Enough of this. We all need to stop fighting and think about what's best for Ethan." I laughed, sharp, humorless. "Oh, now you care about what's best for Ethan?" I asked, crossing my arms. "Where was that concern when you forced me to raise him because Vanessa couldn't be bothered? Where was that concern when you let her walk away without a single consequence?" They didn't answer, because there was no answer. We all knew the truth. They had let her leave because it was easier, because forcing me to step up was the path of least resistance, because no one wanted to deal with Vanessa's messes, so they dumped them onto me instead. But now that I had built something stable, now that Ethan was thriving, happy, loved, now they wanted to rip it all apart. "You don't have a case," I told Vanessa, my voice steady. "You don't have a job. You don't have a home fit for a child. You don't have anything that proves you're capable of being a parent." Her smirk wavered. "But I do," I continued. "I have everything. The courts are going to take one look at this situation and see you for exactly what you are, a woman who left her kid and only came back when it was convenient." Vanessa's hands curled into fists. "You can't just steal my son from me." "I didn't steal anything," I shot back. "You gave him away." Silence, thick, heavy, unbreakable. Then my mother spoke, her voice smaller than before. "There has to be a way to fix this," she pleaded. "He deserves to know his real mother." I clenched my jaw. "I am his real mother," I said. "Maybe not by blood, but in every way that actually matters." And I knew, in that moment, there was no coming back from this. I saw it in my parents' faces. The understanding that I wasn't budging, that I wasn't the same person they had bullied into submission all those years ago. And I saw it in Vanessa's face. The realization that she had already lost, but she wouldn't accept it. Not yet. "Fine," she said finally, her voice tight with anger. "If you want a fight, you'll get one." And she stormed off. My parents hesitated, looking at me like they wanted to say something, but in the end, they followed her. And I closed the door. Vanessa did take it to court, and she lost, just like I knew she would. The judge took one look at the situation, at her complete lack of stability, at her years of absence, at the clear and undeniable bond between Ethan and me, and ruled in my favor. I was granted full legal custody. Vanessa was given nothing. She didn't even fight it after that. Once the official ruling was made, she disappeared again, just like she had the first time. No tearful goodbyes, No attempts to actually be the mother she claimed she wanted to be. Because in the end, she never really wanted Ethan. She just wanted control. And when she realized she couldn't take that from me, she left. Again. It's been a year since then. Ethan still doesn't know the full story. I'll tell him one day, when he's older, when he's ready, when he can fully understand that love is what makes a family, not just blood. But for now, he's happy. He laughs, he plays, he falls asleep in my arms when he's too tired to make it to his bed. He's safe. And as I tuck him in at night, smoothing his hair back as he mumbles sleepily about dinosaurs and superheroes, I know I did the right thing. I fought for him. I chose him. And I always will.